and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man that just got done with a vigorous motorcycle fight. It's Erik Hoffmeyer.
It was very vigorous and very fast. Good thing Ilsa Faust was not chasing me.
Yeah, I love the motorcycle antics in this movie. In the second one, you have an actual motorcycle fight between Dougray Scott and Tom Cruise. And then in Rogue Nation, it's the Ilsa Cruise chase.
Oh, she was moving. She was moving in that motorcycle chase. That
chase is so fast. And when those knees get close to the ground, you feel it in Rogue Nation. When those knees graze, you're like, that's skin off. That's like, it's not face off, it's skin off on the knee.
No, I felt it in Fallout when she was going through the buildings and the pillars and in between all the cars. And normally when a henchman or someone chasing you on a motorcycle, it always ends up badly for the henchman on the motorcycle, but not for Ilsa Faust. She had it under control. Terrible shot, but great on a motorcycle.
Never be a motorcycle henchman. John Wick, like all these movies, they have the villainess. Like if you're on a motorcycle and you're a henchman, you're dead. But Mile 22 had a successful motorcycle henchman, and it kind of annoyed me because now I can't use that bit anymore because I'm always thinking about Mile 22 in the back of my brain.
Well, just don't bring it up because no one has seen that movie.
Yeah, imagine that. You're in a conversation, right? You're at Oxford. You're at a big swanky party. Everyone's drinking scotch. There's a big, everyone has nice tweed coats. You're standing around, very stuffy library, and you're discussing motorcycle fights, in films. And just one of the professors goes, "Actually, Mark, Mile 22, starring Iko Uwais and Mark Wahlberg, had an excellent motorcycle henchman." I just be like, damn it, Donnie!
You got me.
Damn it, Donnie! You humanities professors are the worst!
Just run out of the building.
I would just
end the party right now.
I'd throw my scotch in his face, and then I'd throw my glass in his face, and then I'd just give him like a quick gut shot and walk out. I have tenure,
would you give the gut
fine.
shot, or would you just tip the hat to him? It's like, well played, sir. Well played.
No, he knows what he's doing. He's been waiting for this.
Just waiting for that one moment where you can call someone out about a motorcycle fight.
Yeah, he knows that since I started teaching there, that motorcycle bits were my thing. And so he's been watching all of them that he can. And he finally got a hold of Mile 22 because it's on Netflix right now. It was trending. And he's actually an Iko Uwais fan who's amazing. And while watching, probably in a chair, looking all critical, taking notes, he probably fast forwards through them just for the motorcycle scenes. And he sees it and he's like, I got him.
Well, then you one-up him and ask him about jet ski action sequences, which no one on Earth knows more about jet ski action sequences than Mark Hoffmeyer. So you just raise the bar and challenge him on a whole new plane.
Yeah. No, you know what? I guess if I threw whiskey in his face, that would be admitting defeat. So I would just be like, oh, you're right about that. However, they weren't directly chasing them, and they weren't trying to wipe them out in Mile 22. They were just trying to put a bomb on their car. That was their sole mission. So they weren't trying to get on the car. They weren't trying to Indiana Jones them. They just wanted to slap some gooey stuff on their car and blow it up. So
yeah, you had a loophole there. You can pivot out of that.
And I'll bet you know what I'm talking about, Donnie. Like, you're cheating. And then he'll kind of sulk away. I'm like, yeah, that's right. And I'm knowing he got me, but I'm ready for it. So
well played.
Yeah.
Now we're ready in case that situation ever comes up. But I have to ask you, now that we talked about jet skis, could Tom Cruise pull off an effective jet ski action sequence in an upcoming Mission Impossible movie?
No, absolutely.
If anyone could pull off a jet ski action sequence, it is Tom Cruise. The biggest practical stunt movie in the world was Fallout.
But here's the thing.
In order to top it, you have to go jet skis or boats.
I mean, Face Off has that done, right? Face Off owns the boat chase. So the thing is, on a jet ski, he would have to be chasing somebody through, say, Venice, right? He couldn't just be going down a random canal, because that's a straight line. No one wants to see a straight line jet ski chase. So you need somewhere with you need somewhere with landmines going off or something.
A river. You could go down a river, because then you have changing scenery,
mangroves, stuff like that. I just don't want to see Tom Cruise in mangroves. To be honest, I don't want a mangrove chase with Tom Cruise.
It could be the Everglades.
Man, you know what? If he did one in a lazy river in Dubai, that's what I would want to see.
Maybe around those Palm Islands.
Yes.
Those islands just all around there in Dubai. I could see that.
He's not running though. That's the problem. And I know he doesn't have to run in all of his movies, But see, I just can't. No one's ever looked cool in a jet ski, right? The best jet ski movies are like and what's the Zohan. You don't mess with the Zohan. No, that one's bad. Dwayne Johnson on motorcycles. Dwayne Johnson on jet ski. Yeah,
I think he's just too big for the jet ski.
There's a scene in Hobbs and Shaw.
Looks good.
Yeah. But there's a scene in Hobbs and Shaw where he pulls up on a motorcycle, and I'm like, nah, that doesn't work. Why is he on this thing? What? I felt bad for the motorcycle in this. But yeah, so that's my, I think we got it, man. If I ever get into an argument in Oxford against a humanities professor about motorcycle chases, I'm gold.
Then you pivot to the loophole and then raise the stakes a notch.
Man, that's electric. They will be talking about that for years. Years they'll be talking about it. Oh, man, the Glenfiddich scotch was flowing through everyone's veins.
You're telling your grandkids someday?
Yeah. The atmosphere was rich with mahogany wood and the smell of old books. The taste of 12-year Glenfiddich was coming from my breath, and as I said that thing to Donnie. Well, that's a book right there.
Well, I tell you what, I feel like I did enough research to write a book about Mission Impossible for preparing for this episode, because you can't just watch Fallout.
There's too much.
You have to watch Fallout like 3 times because it's so loaded with the story and the action, but then I wouldn't be able to talk about it, so I had to go back and remind myself about Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa Foss. I had to go back about Jeremy Renner, and so I ended up watching all the Mission Impossible movies to prepare for this episode. Well, except for Mission Impossible 2, because I mean you really don't need to watch Mission Impossible 2, but I watched all the other movies to prepare for this, so I feel like I could write a book on Mission Impossible or take on a professor at Oxford.
There's too much. I listened to the 2 commentaries on the Blu-ray. I watched all the extras. There's what feels like a 7-hour interview with McQuarrie and Empire. I mean, there is just endless stuff out there about this movie. And to be honest, this movie, well, Tom Cruise has been really good for me, by the way. I think I wrote my most read article ever with the Tom Cruise run-in when Fallout came out.
When he retweeted you.
Yeah, and then he tweeted
about how Edge of Tomorrow was the blockbuster of summer, and that was just too juicy to not have some studio or PR person retweet on behalf of Tom Cruise.
He's been good to me. He retweeted my Edge of Tomorrow review, and then he called my Tom Cruise running data for Rotten Tomatoes really cool. And that was everywhere. Everyone shared that. They made a video for it that got millions of views. So Tom Cruise has no idea who I am, but his running has been really good to me.
Analyzed the number of miles he ran in this movie, I saw it on the Rotten Tomatoes interview, and his eyes lit up, but then he immediately pivoted. Like he thought it was cool, but not that impressed. 'Cause he's like, okay, you have the on-screen time, but you didn't calculate my 50 takes in order to get this one.
Oh man. So Eric Davis did that interview. That'd be so funny. He's like, actually, this is what Mark Hoffmeyer got. And he's like, he was on set every day with the pen and paper, just reading.
You'll show him.
And
I agree. There is so much in this movie. You ever go to an art museum and you're feeling really good, you're feeling cultured for the first 45 minutes, and then you get completely saturated?
Yeah.
Like you lose that feeling of awe, and then it's like, okay, it's just another art piece after an hour. Just only so much your brain can process. That's what Fallout kind of feels like. I mean, there were like 10 distinctly independent action sequences in this, like the botched plutonium deal, the skydiving bathroom fight, club fight, the vision of the extraction of Solomon Lane, the actual extraction, motorcycle getaway, Rebecca Ferguson shooting at them, the helicopter chase, and the final fight on the rock. There were 10 different actual action sequences in this movie. I mean, that is as rich and as big of a movie as I've ever seen.
And just listening to all the interviews that Cruise and McQuarrie did, they wanted to make this they wanted to give audiences their spectacle. They wanted them to have, like, they worked tirelessly to make this as, so this movie made $791 million worldwide. It has a 7.7 on IMDb, which is huge, and a 97% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, 88% audience score. So I remember walking out of this movie and going, this should have been nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture. I said that. I was like, this should have been, no. And it could have fit. They didn't pick 10 movies. Toss Fallout in there. It deserves it. But this is going to sound crazy, Eric. The more I watch this movie, the lower it falls on my favorite Mission Impossible list.
Wow.
And what's weird about that is you're going to think I'm crazy. The audience is going to think I'm crazy. My friends at Oxford are going to think I'm crazy. But, it's just, they're going to use it against me. I know it's going to happen. But what gets me is, like, in the first Mission Impossible, right? Brian De Palma directed it. It's very noir, very drenched in kind of like
it's
shadows and dark and
they had weird camera angles.
Weird,
they would shoot a lot from the top and from underneath, and they did the really slow panning like you'd expect in a 70s movie. It was a very odd movie.
Yeah, De Palma's a maniac, and so he just shot it like a maniac, and I love it. But I gotta tell you, like that scene where he's hanging from a wire, and he catches his one drop of sweat, and the knife falls, and there's a rat. Now that was meticulously planned. It was not expensive. No one's life was in danger. But in that moment, the entire audience, I felt, was hanging there with Ethan Hunt. And that drop of sweat, I couldn't catch I remember still being stressed out from that scene. And then you go to like Mission Impossible 3, where, I mean, every scene with Philip Seymour Hoffman. And when Kerry Russell dies.
Oh, with the pill that she was in her brain.
And she had such a great intro. She was a badass, right? And I just went, oh, like and then you have to wake him up, like the defibrillator and all that. And then in Ghost Protocol, which I think is the best moment, is when he's hanging off that building. And which each, with his gloves, and then a glove stops working, you're hanging there with him. You almost feel, they shot in IMAX, you feel stressed. Like, just, you're up there with him. And as much as I loved Fallout, I mean, this is an action spectacle that I said should have been nominated for Best Picture, but maybe I've been spending too much time with it. And like you said, this beautiful piece of art that was awe-inspiring is now like, yeah, I see it every day. Maybe I need a break from it to watch it again, but there's no moments in this film where I'm thinking, like when my heart is in my chest. Like, I love the helicopter bit, but it never, like, since it's in a helicopter, you know how controlled it is, I guess. And I know the Ghost Protocol thing was controlled, but he was actually hanging on the building. But I never felt in this movie, I never held my breath. But when I watched the action, I was like, yeah. But I never was so invested in it that a drop of sweat or a well-timed eye bomb on Kerry Russell, or climbing on a building where you're just, like, you're so, like, tense and it catches you by surprise. I never got that from this movie. And you're going to think I'm insane. Like, so saying that this is, like, one of my least favorite Mission Impossible movies is saying, like, it's like comparing Filet Mignon to the next Porterhouse. Like, I love them both. Or, like, comparing, I don't know, something like a pretentious IPA to another pretentious IPA that I love. They're all great. But this Fallout...
It makes sense. I think you just put a higher value on suspense over the magnitude of the stunts. And I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think you can enjoy the big stunts, or you can enjoy how they really stretch and play with you more. Some of my favorite scenes in the Mission Impossible franchise is the scenes where there's no noise, when it's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Like the part in the hallway in Ghost Protocol where they had the screen up and you can't say a word. They're going soft, and it lasted about 15 minutes when they would try and distract the guard with the noise.
Mm-hmm.
That one was stressful in Ghost Protocol, even though it wasn't him hanging off a building or in a helicopter, but just the situation and the silence. Like him hanging on a rope, that was silence the whole time. I mean, you had Luther in his ear a little bit. You had Jean Reno up top, but that was, for the most part, that was quiet. So it's really amazing how the quiet and no sound can be more stressful than having the actual music in there. But yeah, I agree. I think that's great. That's a good point in how the stress, depends on if you like suspense or you like big. And one thing I think they do a good job at, but I think it's a staple of the Mission Impossible franchise, that they add that stress and that suspense in the action scenes, is that Tom Cruise never gets it on the first try. All right, let's talk Fallout for a second. He's climbing up the rope at the end on the helicopter and he falls down. On Ghost Protocol, when he's climbing on the outside of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, one of his little gloves fails.
Oh, so crazy.
Or you've got Rogue Nation when he's underwater in Morocco trying to get into that server farm, and he's almost got it, and the robot spinning around whacks him out of place, and he has to, like, get to his senses. So you'll notice in every single Mission Impossible movie or suspense scene, he never gets it on the first try. He always gets it on the second one, but it's a good way to stretch out that scene and add to the suspense.
No, that's a great point. And one of my favorite lines in this movie is when he's like, we'll just, we'll hope that it works out. And Henry Cavill says, hope's not a game plan. And then Ilsa says, you've never met Ethan. Like, I love, I like in this movie where it's a lot of time, like, he's playing catch up, I think, through a lot of these movies. He's always sort of maybe one step behind, or he's trying to get on. So I like the chase in these movies. Does that make sense? Like, he always sort of fails the first time, adds great suspense, makes him more human, and then he's always, I don't know, I like how he's trying to play catch up in these movies. Like
Ghost Protocol, they gave the codes away to the guy, the birds, just so they could track him down. Mm-hmm. In Fallout, they lost the plutonium at the beginning. In Rogue Nation, Solomon Lane executes the woman in the beginning.
Yeah, that one's so hardcore. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, in that record store where you feel for this woman, and she's so starstruck by seeing Ethan Hunt right there. And then, boom, Solomon Lane gets her. That one hurt a lot. And, yes, you're right. He always gets – someone else strikes the first blow, and he's playing catch-up the whole time.
Like Mission Impossible, he's going after Voight. And just he's sort of – I dig it. It's I think it adds a little bit to the humanity of the character, too. So he does go through a massive motorcycle accident in this one without a scratch. But you're right. I do like how he fails, and he's playing catch-up, and hope – is like his best chance, and he's just dogged on it. I think that's what makes people love the character, I would say. Like, that's a good point. I never thought about that. That's a good way to sort of build your character.
And this new one in Fallout, and I watched all the movies, this was the first time he ever said sorry.
Wow.
Maybe he said, I don't know if he said it to Kerry Russell in Mission Impossible 3, but in Fallout he said sorry 3 times.
Oh.
One was when he crashed the funeral. And he says, I am terribly sorry. when he was being chased to the funeral in London. The second time is when the female French police officer gets shot by the thugs. He said, I'm so sorry to her. And at the end, he said, I'm so sorry to Julia when they were in Kashmir. So the first time he's actually been apologetic, and that was a big character turn in the movie.
Yeah, I guess there has been development for him throughout the franchise. I mean, this is the fallout of it all.
I had no idea why they called it Fallout until Solomon Lane said it in one of his monologues. I'm like, why do they call this Fallout? And they're like, oh, okay, it's the fallout from your actions over the years.
Yeah. Solomon Lane,
he's good. That's a good actor.
Oh yeah, you know what's funny?
The voice and the way he looks.
Yeah. He didn't want to come back after Rogue Nation. He's like, just kill me off. And then they bring him back and they put him in a tank and they swing him around underwater. And like, they built that set when Tom Cruise knocks his vehicle into the water. Like, that's a set that they built on a gimbal to spin around. So you have this guy that's, don't bring me back. I never want to come back. And then they bring him back and dunk him in water for like a week.
They probably took a week to film that scene.
He was not happy about that. It was kind of funny. Like,
he had some funny lines in this one too, like the part where they were driving around Paris, and then they take the bag off his head, and he's like, "Oh, that was Ilsa. Interesting."
Yeah.
He's like, "Good to see you, Ethan." They gave him some funny lines for a bad guy.
Was that Ilsa? Like,
interesting.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, the guy's a good actor. I mean, he pulls off what they gave him, and you know what? Oh, I think because you and I had to push this back a couple weeks, and so then I keep watching it to sort of refresh myself. But I noticed the sheer amount. Did this pull you out? The more you watch this movie, the more you notice plutonium being said. And do you like plutonium as a MacGuffin in a film? It's just, I'm going to poison the world's water supply. You're like, I don't know. And then they just keep talking about plutonium in this movie. Does that take you out of it? Does that hurt your repeat viewings of it?
Yeah, but not until the third time.
Yeah.
Because there's so much in this movie that it takes a while for little things to start to annoy you in it.
All right. Now, I just want to bring you back to my days working in a bar in 04, 05, and you would go there to the bar. And do you remember the bathroom in that bar?
Yes.
It was horrible.
It's gross.
Now, this bathroom in Fallout I just realized this.
It's immaculate.
People have talked about it, but like, these are the most polite ravers that I have ever seen in my life. Is that a French thing? Are they? Because they're all washing their hands.
And no one was in there either.
The floor's immaculate. If this is a rave, people are going to the bathroom. So that's the one thing I kind of thought about. Like, wait, this is but I mean, but you, it's what is? I think it's just because you and I spent so much time watching it.
You know what I wonder about that scene? They spent 4 weeks filming that bathroom scene. And I wonder about the construction guys on set and how many times they had to fix those walls and those sinks. That's like, I gotta do this drywall one more time. That's probably why it looked immaculate, because they kept having to redo it so many times over 4 weeks.
Not the window again.
I just replaced that.
Yeah, and you know what I gotta say though about that bathroom fight and going back to Tom Cruise taking a beating. I mean, they showcased the decoy John Lark. I mean, that guy. Like Cavill gets beat up. Cavill gets knocked. Cavill's a brick. Like, so it's interesting in this. He's like, what did they call him to it? He's like a tank, but he's
the hammer.
The hammer.
Ethan was the scalpel.
But I mean, he's like a pretty surgical hammer. Like, he throws some pretty good punches. But what I like about Tom Cruise and what I like about these movies are, he will step aside for his co-stars to shine, I would say. Mm-hmm. And I like how he takes a beating in this fight. I mean, Ilsa ends up shooting him. They are down and out to this guy. So that's one thing I do like about Cruise. I think it takes someone with, I mean, he either understands the character really well or a lack of ego to allow like him and Superman to get schnockered by decoy John Lark in this scene. And I dig
way more intense though, because that was one bad dude, and he would have won.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Ilsa Foss coming in and accidentally shooting him in the face. But you're right. That he allowed that guy to shine, and he was legitimate badass. But there's 2 things I love about that fight scene. One was he took a pipe from under the sink and used it as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is really creative. Like, someone had to think about that in the filming. So I don't know if they wrote it in advance or they were just looking around the bathroom at things that could be a potential weapon and figured out as they went. But that was a mean weapon. And that's something I've never seen before. I've never seen someone pull off a pipe from a sink to use as a weapon in a bathroom fight. So it's something that was new to me and interesting. But I think my most favorite part of that scene, and I think this is what Fallout does so well, is that they have these massive stunts, but they excel at the little things.
Yeah.
So Tom Cruise was going to hit the guy with a needle to knock him out. But then they were at the sinks looking in the mirror, and Cavill gave him up because Cavill made eye contact with the guy in the mirror. And the guy immediately thought something was up, and it forced Ethan to have to move on the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So Ethan could tell that Cavill gave him up by looking in the mirror, and then boom, the fight started. Is there a better way to start a fight than that?
No.
I mean, is there?
They built it up with solid suspense. Cavill did it on purpose, I guess, since he's John Lark. He sort of gave him the notice. And then he smashed him in the face with the thing to prevent Tom Cruise from taking his face. And he also kills every syndicate member, so there's no reliable witnesses. You know pretty early on that Cavill's the villain, correct? Was it ever in doubt for you?
No, they gave it away when he took the cracked phone from the bathroom and then gave Angela Bassett a perfectly good iPhone.
Yeah.
So that was one giveaway. But they tried really hard to hide the fact that he was the villain. When they were meeting with the White Widow and her team and how he jumped in to explain about how awful Solomon Lane is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, would a bad guy really explain about how evil this guy is and try and tell that story? So they did a really good job of trying to hide that fact.
Yeah, and just the inclusion of Cavill in this. The dude's Witcher, Man from U.N.C.L.E. It's nice to see him. And also in the commentary, man. So what we were saying about in the bathroom and how they discovered that every day changes for these guys. And so they're on set and they're like, oh, well, I'm not feeling this, so let's change this. Okay. Like they changed the script. I mean, granted, he broke his foot, and then Rebecca Ferguson, because of the production delays, she was pregnant, and she should have been done in time to be fine. But when they had to go back, they had to like write all around that stuff. But on set, if they see something or something different, you change it. So the production designer, Like Wade Eastwood's the stunt coordinator. He's been doing Tom Cruise's stuff. Also, Wade Eastwood, he was a stunt guy on The Mummy, and then he was a stunt coordinator on Tom Cruise's The Mummy, which I kind of love. And then you have Wolfgang Steegman. He's the fight coordinator. He actually works with Cruise a lot, and he did The Witcher with Cavill. So I wonder if that connection brought Cavill onto this. But like the production designer, Peter Wenham, he's done like Bourne Ultimatum and stuff, and then the DP did Ex Machina, Annihilation, Devs. So it's really, these guys went into it though knowing that every day could change. So they're on set, but if Cruise sees something, or if McQuarrie sees something, they're going to go do it. So you can't just be, they warn you about it, but if they're on set and Cruise is like, how great would that be if we have this bathroom scene, and then it tells a story like this, and then you grab the pipe. You got to get on it right then and there. And so throughout the film, Cruise was talking about Cavill and just saying he was down for everything. We changed everything on him. He had to stay in places for months. He was always changing. He was always in helicopters. We changed everything, but he was always there. And so if you work with Cruise, it was interesting. Jake Johnson from New Girl, and he's in Mummy with Tom Cruise. He was talking about how he's trying to do half measures with Tom Cruise on set, and Tom Cruise stopped the production and like, no, you're getting zipped up. And he just zipped up Jake Johnson, and like there's a scene in The Mummy where a guy was trying to half it. And Tom Cruise was not happy about it. He's like, we go full. So if you work with him, you just gotta go and do it. So it's cool, man. I think Henry Cavill learned a lot on it. They said nothing but love about him. But I tell you, man, I don't know if I'd want to work on one of those sets. I guess it'd be fulfilling, but that's a lot of it's a lot of work. Sorry, that was a long-winded thing.
The interviews. All good. I love seeing the interviews afterwards and how close Cavill, Cruise, and Simon Pegg were. I mean, I was surprised they killed Cavill off after they were so close and they've been through all that together and he was the perfect villain. I was actually really surprised at the end that they went that direction because he's the type of villain I would love to see in the next movie. I think they casted Nicholas Hoult as the villain for 7. But then he had to pull out because of COVID-related production delays, so they brought in someone else. I forgot who it was, but Nicholas Hoult would be, I was really looking forward. Yeah, I've never seen him as a bad guy. I could totally see it. I mean, maybe a little bit in Mad Max. He's got the crazy side and the smart side, so I think he could shift directions. But that would have been really great.
Yeah, that's I love hearing inspired casting choices. So I remember when Venom was coming out, and like Michelle Williams is going to be in Venom. I'm like, what? This is amazing. And then when they said Nicholas Hoult was the villain in Mission Impossible 7, I'm like, that's really inspired casting. Yeah, but I think
you feel it immediately.
But if you work on these movies, you just gotta do it. Yeah, it's gonna change every day. The script's gonna change. It's gonna and it's not. They like to discover it on set. And I think Tom Cruise is a producer too, so what he says goes. But I think his instincts have become pretty amazing, I guess, in regards. But maybe one thing too. I love the De Palma stylings in the first one, right? I love the John Woo stylings in the second one, even though it's insane. So those first ones were De Palma and John Woo films. Now they've basically become a Tom Cruise film. And I'm not saying anything bad about Christopher McQuarrie, but they're so collaborative. Do you think that's helped or hurt Mission Impossible?
It's a good question. I mean, so you had Ghost Protocol, which they really found their stride.
Yeah.
And McQuarrie was not really the director there.
Brad
Bird was, but they would bring in a different, up until Fallout, they would bring in a different director for each movie, but somehow they really found their stride at Ghost, and that continued that with
Rogue
Nation. And then Rogue Nation and Ghost were kind of similar, but they did kind of go a different direction in Fallout, where they tried to close out the story with Julia, the wife. They tried to add another element to Cruise. I'm less concerned about director. I'm more concerned about where they're going to go after 3 movies with the nuclear threat. Like, where are they going to go after that? Like, how are you going to keep coming out with these compelling storylines if you've gone bonkers and huge with Fallout? So maybe it is a Tom Cruise movie. That's fine. I'm more concerned about what else they have to work with, because I saw they're shooting a really epic car chase in the streets of Rome right now. They just wrapped up for the movie. But I've seen that. I mean, we had that in Fallout. We had that in Rogue. And I'm worried about the same type of roller coaster as Fallout. So that's what I'm a little bit more worried about. So that's a question for you maybe. Do they go up in scale from Fallout? Or did they try and bring it down to those really tight suspense scenes like Ethan hanging on the wires, or, the more intimate conversations with the bad guy like Philip Seymour Hoffman, who is, one of the best I've ever seen? Where do they go? Do they go up or they go down? Because they're obviously recreating the same formula with McQuarrie car chases in Europe, introducing new characters. So that's what I'm kind of wondering about 7.
You know what's crazy is this isn't the Fast and Furious world. So you can't have zombie cars. You can't have have The Rock falling 4 stories and living. So you need to stay relatively grounded. And after this helicopter chase and several of these stunts, you know what I think it has to be? It has to be that I'm fine with them repeating beats, because like the helicopter they used in 3, the helicopter they used in 2, the helicopter they used in 1 in the tunnel. I mean, that was pretty tough to beat the helicopter in the tunnel in 1. So as long as it's organic, I'm fine with repeated beats. As long as it's just not, we're going to have the largest car crash ever on film and 7,000 cars are going to explode at one time. Like, as long as if they don't go gimmick heavy with stunts and they keep the action and stunts organic that aid the plot, like Ghost Protocol hanging from the building aided the plot, I would say. Some of these big stunts, so I'm okay with them recycling as long as they're organic. I mean, look how many times Bond is recycled. You just got to build. I mean, Mad Max Fury Road was Stagecoach, basically one long chase scene. But you gotta, the action just needs to happen organically. It's fine to, I mean, I don't see them coming up with anything new. It just has to, a slight new spin on it. Like the bathroom fight. I didn't think Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise would lose. They lost, right? They got smoked. So as long as it's something like that, I think I can roll with it. Does that make sense? It just has to. They can't just go bigger for bigger sake, is what I mean.
Agree. They need to go big. I want to go back to my theory about why I love this movie so much is because it's in the little things. Because they went big, but they had so many little things, and maybe I would love to see more of this in the next one. Can I give you my top 3 little things on here?
Yeah. Do you got 5 or 3?
I got 5.
Yeah. Give me 5.
Give me 5. Okay. 1, I think a proper villain does not run. A villain should not be rushed because you don't look so menacing. You look way more menacing if you're walking. So one of my favorite parts is how Tom Cruise is running around like a madman on the roofs of these buildings, jumping over buildings, breaking out of windows, dropping 2 stories down. Whereas Henry Cavill is just going through a leisurely walk across London.
Yeah.
Not in any hurry whatsoever. At the end, Solomon Lane sees Ilsa Foss running toward the house, so he just slowly walks inside. It's so much more menacing when you're walking. And that's one of the things I love about it, because they could have had Cavill, or his character was Walker, and he was walking slowly. I thought that was kind of a funny name.
And he's the villain in a Tom Cruise running movie.
Yeah, so villains don't, if Tom Cruise is running, the villain should walk.
Yeah,
so I love this leisurely stroll throughout London.
And be called Walker.
Yeah. I wonder if they had that planned. There's no way. I guess it's just a coincidence. I loved how the bad guy Cavill had better lines than the funny character, Simon Pegg, as Benji. Cavill had way better lines in this one than Benji. Benji would carry, I think they learned on the third one, that third one wasn't really funny. I mean, Benji was kind of cool. He had a couple lab scenes, but none of the people in Cruise's crew were particularly funny. So it felt a little flat in the third one. I mean, Maggie Q was incredible, everyone else. But, yeah, they added the fourth one, and adding that humor element in 4 and 5 was excellent. But Cavill had the 3, I think, greatest lines I think in movie history, 3 successive lines, is when they were in the C-17 about to jump out over Paris. And then for one, they're like, 2 minutes to drop zone. And then they start putting on their equipment. I'm like, you're not going to put on any equipment until 2 minutes from the drop zone.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But Cavill pulls out Cruise's oxygen line, says, enough talk. I'll see you in Paris. He just jumps out the plane. And then the next one, they're falling down through the lightning storm. He's like, what's the matter, Hunt? Afraid of a little lightning? Like, what a bombastic thing to say. Of course, who would not be afraid of lightning?
Yeah.
And then he meets them on the roof and says, looks like you lost your oxygen.
He's sassy.
Yeah, I mean, those 3 lines were so perfectly the before, the during, the after, and just not showing any appreciation whatsoever. I think he had the best lines I've seen ever in a movie.
You know, they had another stunt added onto that. Like they were going to climb on these massive ropes over the party, and they actually did it. And then they break up the cable, and Tom Cruise flies like over onto a thing, and then he meets up with Walker, and he connects himself to Walker, and then they go flying across the dance floor, and then smash through a glass window. And that's a deleted scene. They shot
I want
this
to watch it though.
week-long scene that cost millions, and they're like, "Yeah, we don't need it. It's insane. Just want to give
The
it
director's recut.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, it's on the Blu-ray. It's probably on the if you bought it, probably the digital extras on there. But sorry, I interrupted. So you got those scenes.
Nice tip. All right, what is this? Number 3. I love how they dressed up Cavill in a JCPenney or Men's Warehouse suit. You have this incredibly handsome man, probably the most handsome man in the world, and they put him in an obvious government suit that looks like one of your first suits you would get from JCPenney. And the shirt was one of those, before you know how to dress, when you get the shirts that are kind of like this greenish gray or this purplish brown. It's like one of those weird, and the tie actually matches the shirt versus complimenting it. I love how they took him and put him in this cheap looking suit. So I thought that was just great how they did that. Whereas Ethan Hunt looks smooth and he's got the 2 buttons undone, and then you've got Walker in this like typical government suit. So I thought that was perfect.
No starch, no nothing. Just
nothing. Yeah. No tailoring.
Yeah.
It's kind of poofy on the sides. It doesn't quite fit right.
He's a Hammer, man. Hammers don't wear tailor suits. That's funny. That's a great pick. That's a great note. That's good costuming right there. That's layered stuff right there. And they think about all that. I bet you that's cool. That's really neat.
You know what other thing I loved about this too, that is part of it, but not part of the big stunts, was they went to the silent films for inspiration. I saw an interview with McQuarrie, how he went back to the old school movies. So they knew this was going global. So there was a language barrier. People would still know exactly what happened just by seeing it. Like, for example, I think one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when Cruise made it into the first helicopter at the end for the first time. And as soon as he gets in there, instead of immediately fighting, they spent a good 3 seconds just staring at each other.
Wait, that's not him.
But they didn't have to spend 3 seconds just staring at each other out of disbelief.
That's good. Yeah, build time, catch the audience up. Yeah.
And it's funny because you see the guy like complete utter disbelief. Or there's times when Cruise knew he was about to get hurt, and he would do the typical Cruise rolling his eyes thing. Like when he got caught in the building, he had to cut his parachute and then fall 30 feet down the side of a building.
The Cruise, this is going to hurt face is wonderful.
Oh, like right before Cavill's character got knocked out in the bathroom scene and he had to fight the guy alone.
Oh, Cavill got wasted by that dude. Oh, I love that. That makes me so happy.
When he kicked him in the chest was the blow that knocked him out.
Yeah. Oh man. Dude, chest kicks are legit. Don't sleep on them.
No, that was a full-on chest kick. I mean, that was like full-on, all your body weight into it too. My other favorite part is, when they went to that club and the White Widow was giving that sexy talk at her party, her fundraiser, and they got in the fight with the assassins, and then as they were exiting the bar or the club, you had an assassin had a gun. So Ilsa Foss jumped up and did her patented leg move and knocked him down. And then another guy came up with a gun, and Cavill's character just knocks him out. And then you got the inspirational music played, and all 4 of them are just walking out all tough out of the club. And for that brief moment, you're like, this is a badass team. This is amazing. You feel good about this team for that 5 seconds.
That's a super
inspirational music. Yeah, that was probably my other favorite scene, just that when they walk out all triumphantly.
I'd be so pissed if Henry Cavill cheap shotted me. That would suck. I would not be a fan of that. So
the stuntman sold it. Stuntman sold it, punched in the face.
I mean, the best in the business work with Cruise. I mean, they can afford it, and these movies make money. So every technical thing about these movies is, so that sexy speech she was giving was a song.
Really?
And so they had her singing, and they're like, well, this makes no sense. Like, we know nothing about the character. So then they ADR'd all that dialogue. So you can see her arms moving. Like, when she looks like she's singing. So if you watch it again closely, you'll see that she's singing a song as opposed to telling the story. So they just changed everything. they filmed a song number, and they're like, nah, that doesn't work for the story. Switch it. But you have to do it. And the editor on the commentary, the editor had to be on set at all times because he has to sit there like this, so they can redo it. So yeah, that her sexy speech was a sexy song.
And it was tied to the MI1 because she kept talking about her mom, Max.
Yeah.
But Max was the broker in the first Mission Impossible movie, the English woman.
Redgrave.
Yeah, you're right.
Vanessa Redgrave.
So I don't know what that connection is between Max and the first one and the White Widow in 6.
Right, so here's mine. My favorite small moment. I think Vanessa Kirby's like my favorite part of this. I just watched a movie. It's going to be on Netflix in January called Pieces of a Woman, and she might get Oscar nom for it. I watched it, and then they did an interview, and she crushes it. She's going to be like big, but I liked the scene when Tom Cruise is fighting the people, and she just smiles. She has this unhinged smile, and that for me was like the most interesting part. You have this arms dealer broker lady who has so many connections, really wealthy, but she was just loving that part. Like she dug.
Oh, you're right.
Like there's a scene where she smiles. She was
exhilarated.
Yeah,
she was exhilarated by the best smile is when they were in the car pulling up to her house and she looked over to him all wild-eyed.
Yeah, I don't know what her choices on this I love because like from what I read, she's a very instinctual actor. Like in Hobbs and Shaw, she wasn't supposed to kiss Dwayne Johnson in that scene. She just did it anyway. So she's very like instinctual. And so I dug the wild-eyed part of it. It really made the movie feel more alive because a lot of these characters are old hat right now and they can't really enjoy themselves too much because there's not much to enjoy. I mean, you're chasing down a nuclear bomb. So it's nice to watch that like unhinged smile. Like I like thrilling smile. So I like that. My second one was when they followed Hunt and when they're killing, like when they're explaining the plan and they have the camera on Hunt's back and they're killing all the guards and they're trying to rescue Lane. Mm-hmm. And so you don't quite know if it's Hunt at first, but then you slowly learn it's Hunt. But it's like a nice oneer on a Steadicam where all these cops are getting killed and you're like, this is happening? This is insane. And then you realize that it's all a plan. But I loved just the camera work behind him and then slowly learning that it was Hunt. It's a long take. It hits hard. It's quite brutal. And McQuarrie said, if you think about Rogue Nation, man, like the shirts in that and Ilsa's dress and the opera and the bright colors on the motorcycles and the suits and kind of the big action scenes like that, it was very brightly colored. Like it has more like life to it. It's brighter. So if McQuarrie said he would only come back if this movie was darker. So he came back and like that scene's pretty dark. He wanted a darker vibe. He didn't want as bright of colors. He wanted more, like not instead of a bright yellow dress, she's wearing a white dress. Like it's less vibrant. So he wanted a darker theme to it.
But it's dark and it's lighter at the same time because he shows into his character that he would never do that.
Yeah, it's cool though, right? It's a good moment. But it's well shot. I really like. And what's interesting is Rob Hardy. He works with one of my favorite directors, Alex Garland. And if you think about Ex Machina, Annihilation, and Devs, which is my favorite thing I've watched this year, they're very controlled, very static shots, very well thought out. It seems like the shots are more a product of Garland and the way he wants his story told. So it must be interesting for Hardy to work on this movie. Go, go, go! No, change that. So this was probably really good for him to be on this. But I love that shot. And also,
can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
Is there any other movies that have done something similar where you have a vision of something that's going to happen? The only one I could think of was the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. and how he was so smart he could see what would happen. Is there any other movies that had a vision of how something would go down?
Shaun of the Dead did that. Remember in 2004, we're going to go to the house and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then we're going to come through. Yeah. But that editing, I was watching a movie the other day, and there's scenes that were I'm not saying Edgar Wright didn't establish those kind of edit cuts, but yeah, I mean that's pretty interesting. Like True Lies, remember when he envisions killing somebody, and then it flashes back and it's not him killing somebody? When Bill Paxton he manages smashing his face.
Yeah, good call.
So I mean, not to that extent though, and I really enjoyed that shot. I'm going to combine these two, but there's a French Connection moment, so that's like one of my favorite films. Friedkin is when they're driving underneath the overpass in the streets, and then you also have a Point Blank moment where when we first meet Henry Cavill and Angela Bassett, Erica Sloane, they're walking. That's a point blank shot. They built that set just for that, the steps to meet the score. That's a point blank shot. They built a set to make the cinematographer happy to recreate a point blank shot. So it's a Lee Marvin action film. So I love the callbacks, classics of the genre. Also, Gene Hackman walks a lot in French Connection. I don't see it in there. And then I would have to say the loading arms I've already touched on. So I'm just going to say that. I mean, because it's such a cool little touch that's so memorable and it adds personality to the characters. But yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Those are my favorite small moments.
The loading arms, you're talking about the bathroom?
Yeah, when he goes...
And how whenever Cruise did interviews with Henry Cavill after the movie to promote it, he would always have Cavill do the recharging the biceps.
Oh, I love it.
He would roll his eyes, he'd have to get up and then do and everyone would clap and love it. But you can tell every time he's like, Tom, don't make me do this again. Please, seriously.
You're doing it. You roll with Tom, you do what he says. All right, hey, so how about this? Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we will talk more Mission Impossible Fallout. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And Eric, that's a great mustache you got on there.
Thank you. I've been working on it for months.
I remember in 2018, you're like, hey, man, we got to talk about this movie, but give me 2 years. And so here we are doing this.
I calendarized it 2 years in advance to get the perfect mustache, just so I could be like August Walker.
So I broke a cardinal sin, not a cardinal sin, but I broke a thing about the podcast where like, save it for the pod. But during the break, we were talking about Benji's role in this film. And I kind of feel like he had less to do. And I think his character almost regressed a little bit when he's reading the maps wrong. And I know it's funny and it leads to some good bits from Tom Cruise. But what I did notice was throughout the commentary, they wanted to give more to Luther. So if you think about this scene in the opening 15 minutes, they wanted to have that dream sequence where the world blows up. You know, you led her into death. And then the mission thing, then that happens. Then they lose the plutonium because he saves Luther. And then supposedly the nuclear bombs go off and they trick the dude. But during that scene, they specifically wanted Ving Rhames to do more. So remember when he's the one talking in the beginning of that scene? And then he has the speeches with Ilsa, and he has the moment with Julia in that. So I think with the inclusion of Ilsa, the inclusion of August, you know, Ethan always has that role. The death of Alec Baldwin, the pivotal role by Wes Bentley. They had to push back Benji a little bit.
Give.
Yeah,
something's got to give because they had to work in Julia too into this one.
You're right, and so I think Benji took a more. I mean, you take one for the team because you're part of the film and it's awesome and it made $800 million worldwide and you're getting paid. So I mean, it's cool. I don't feel bad for Simon Pegg. I guess when your character has less to do, then you try to give them more comedic beats. Like think about Roman in the Fast franchise, right? In the beginning when him and Brian were best friends, he was like a hammer, and then he became, with his limited screen time, he became more of the comedic, kind of Joker character.
He's always hungry.
Yeah, and not like great at his job, and he's always complaining. So in this one, I mean, he's successful in this one, Simon Pegg, but he's like, I'm not good in the field. How you calm and like nervous at the same time, and I can't go get the car. It seemed a little, I don't know. I love Benji, but do you think they just had to heighten his performance because he had less screen time? No,
I don't. Because remember in Ghost Protocol, all the stress they had about what is Benji going to do wrong?
Yeah.
When we talked about the hallway scene, about how they're inching their way, and Benji would look out at the wrong times, or he would go in front of the camera. So there's always that stress on what is Benji going to do wrong. So I feel like that's a running type of gimmick when he's out in the field. He was in the ghillie suit in the field.
Oh, yeah.
Because Rogue Nation, and he couldn't hack it. He kept hacking into the wrong doors on the plane. So I like that, and that's one of the things I love about this Mission Impossible. They have all these staples from movie to movies, and it's the extra stress of Benji doing something wrong. And I thought it was pitch perfect having him not doing the device correctly. It was in 2D instead of 3D, and he had it upside down, the screen lock. I thought it was perfect and true to character. But you're right, he had a lot of additional characters to compete with in this one.
Mm-hmm. And he's not the star, right? And he's not there's no like love triangle. He's not even too conflicted in this world. He doesn't have kids. He doesn't have a family to worry about. So he's just sort of Benji. So I guess if he can be like the superfluous, I don't know, not superfluous. He can be the comedic relief, I guess, when needed.
Yeah, he was less of a comedic relief in this one because it has so many other funny elements with Cavill's character, I think.
It was nice to see Ving Rhames Luthor getting his more scenes. Like, I loved when he was in the beginning, like, no, Ethan, we can't do it. And then just, I liked his speech with, he carries Julia's photo around, which is interesting. But then at the end with him and Julia, I like that they gave him more to do because he's a staple of the franchise. I mean, he was in 1, 2, 5?
He was in 3. He was in 3.
3, Rogue Nation, and then he wasn't in...
He was at the very end of Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
Like the very, very end part.
And then Rogue Nation, and then this. So I liked that they thought about him, and he was surprised too, Ving Rhames. He was like, "You're giving me that?" He was like, "Yeah, you got it." So,
yeah, they really worked hard to include him in this one.
I like the scene with Julia, but you did get the patented, "Oh, I like her." They always do that in movies. Well,
that was funny because she was actually helping him with the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
So I thought that was perfect.
Yeah, I guess, because she's actually, in the movies, though, we're like, "Oh, I like him." Like, for every movie, they have that. But
I didn't notice that.
I guess if someone's working on a nuclear bomb, they've earned that right to say that. So
there's a higher bar now when you can say you like someone or not.
Yeah, exactly. Not like they say something sarcastic. "Oh, she's quick. Oh, she's working on a nuclear bomb. Cool. I dig that character." No, but I think you're right. I guess when I think about Fallout, I kind of forget that Benji's in it. And I've watched this movie a lot in the last few days.
Yeah, he's got a lot of supporting roles. Like he's driving the boat around, or he's taking care of the drone, or he's just in the back seat. So yeah, maybe he is, but it wasn't definitely his less screen time than previous movies.
But I mean, I guess when you have such other compelling characters too. I mean, Ilsa's cool. I like that she fits in this world. I thought she added a lot in Rogue Nation. So I mean, I would say she's in my top 5 franchise characters. Would you put her in that?
Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I just want to say your top 5 characters from the franchise.
All right, so I got it. I got Owen Davian, Mission Impossible 3, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
You stole Philip for me.
Who are you? What's your name? Do you have a wife, a girlfriend? Because if you do, I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna hurt her. I'm gonna make her bleed and cry. I'm gonna call out your name, and then I'm gonna find you and kill you right in front of her. But in a lesser actor's hands, this is Oscar winner Philip Seymour Hoffman saying this.
Why was he so sinister? What about him made him so sinister in this movie?
Okay. I think this is going to sound super obvious, but I have a few reasons. I think one, because he's an excellent actor, and I think he understood the character. He didn't play the character like a stylized, in the 90s, all those stupid stylized, like, the doohickey over here with the I'm gonna dance and say something cheeky and shoot somebody. This dude, when he got hung outside that plane, he's like, I'm gonna get you now. If you don't do something to me, I'm gonna get you. Like he's a guy who lives up to his word. He is going to get him. He won't stop. His threats are not empty, and it's Philip Seymour Hoffman. So he is just, I got goosebumps talking about him, man.
Remember after he got hung out of the plane and how he heard Ving Rhames or Luthor saying Ethan.
Yeah.
And he got pulled out of the plane. He's like, Ethan.
Yeah.
That was so sinister.
Oh, he's so good. And I just love that he hangs that, like, Ethan's attempt to be tough kind of went against him in that. And he's just such a good character. And so I don't steal more than yours. I don't want to read all 5 of mine in a row. Who do you got? But yeah, I think he's my favorite because, sorry to interrupt again, but I just love, he was a threat. And I think it was wise to, Ethan Hunt is settling down. And that's the villain you have to go up against. That's smart.
I was thinking about something that you brought up earlier in the podcast. Remember the countdown on Mission Impossible 3? He's like, we're going to count to 10, and then I'm going to shoot your wife.
Yeah.
And that count to 10 was excruciating because each time he got farther, Ethan got more and more crazy.
Yeah.
And you could tell him going through the motions, trying to approach the situation differently each time. But that they really worked that 10 count, and that was an iconic moment in the franchise.
Those two are good together. Magnolia, Tom Cruise gets an Oscar nomination, and then Mission Impossible 3. They work well together, those two. I'm telling you, the tension in 3, it gets me. The tension in 3, I think you're right, it has less humor, and the sidekicks probably don't have as much personality. But, like, there's some moments in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, I just got goosebumps talking about him. So, I mean, I dig it.
It's memorable.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go Rebecca Ferguson as Elsa Foss with my number 1 draft pick because she comes across so deep. She's elegant, smart, athletic, deadly, caring. She's so deep in every aspect of the character that I believe that she is Ethan Hunt's equivalent from another country. So she's entirely believable. I was listening to some of the commentaries and they said they looked at 100 people to play her role and they saw her and it was like, yeah, that's it. That's her.
Because I think
she was the most well-rounded, I think, of all the I think I would probably say all the actors in the entire franchise. I would say she's probably the most well-rounded of all of them.
What makes her so good at action, I think, is if you look at Iko Uwais, right? You look at some of the best action stars in their prime. I just said Iko Uwais, but I mean, he never acts tough, Iko Uwais. Like in The Raid, he's never like puffing up. He just beats the daylights out of people and you believe it. Or Russell Crowe in Gladiator. Just that intensity from there. Or even Emily Blunt in Edge of Tomorrow. They never... Yeah. Like, I like my action heroes to not be like Adrian Brody from Predators. Oh, we're cornered and we're going to go kill him. I mean, he's an Oscar winner, so I can't hate on that. But I like her because you just believe all the action beats, but she never plays tough. And I like does that make sense? Like, think about Mad Max Fury Road or Furiosa and Max. They don't play tough. They just play, they're in this situation and they're very capable. And I buy her completely in these situations, if that makes sense.
I would say if we're going to talk about anyone had less of a role, I think it would be her. I mean, I thought she stole the show in Rogue Nation because you didn't know if she was good or not. And that was a big driver of the movie and the plot. Is she going to turn? Is she not going to turn? This dangerous beauty. And then in Fallout, she was almost relegated to stalking them like a puma the whole movie. Yeah, the whole time that she was like right there whenever they needed her and following them around. So, but she would be my number 1 draft pick on the Mission Impossible draft.
My number 2 is Franz Krieger, Jean Reno from Mission Impossible, because I just love Jean Reno.
He was insane.
Yeah,
he was totally insane.
He headbutted a rat to death, and just his character and just how he's sometimes out of his. He was going to kill the guy, remember? And Ethan grabs his hand. He was just this wild card, but he had to be with Ethan at the time because Ethan didn't really have much more. And just watching that character, I don't know, I bought into him completely. And like holding the rope.
Remember the look in his eyes when he was flying the helicopter through the tunnel trying to chop off Ethan Hunt with the blades?
Yeah, dude, he's an excellent actor. And he's a villain. And once again, he didn't try to be a stylish villain. He was just, you knew he was a step behind Ethan, but he was also very dangerous at the same time. So that's why I like him. I think a good movie needs a very good henchman. I mean, he's secondary next to Voight, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I got to have Jean Reno in here, Franz Krieger. So
nice pick. My second, I'm going to go Paula Patton from Ghost Protocol. And I think the reason why I like her, because she's a badass, she's smart, beautiful, but I love the part where she had that self-doubt, issues with self-confidence. You could see it after her partner was killed earlier in the movie. She had to overcome a lot of things mentally. And I think that was really relatable because you often don't have in these big movies someone who has a crisis of confidence.
Yeah. And overcome by anger too, her character.
Anger, sadness, confidence. So, I mean, she was the real deal, but she still had that vulnerability about her. And that's why I like Paula Patton a lot.
She kicked that lady out that building.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
just straight up.
Didn't Renner yell no, or someone yelled no? And
it was Renner.
Yeah. So I love that. I love the anger in there because that's not a trope you see in these movies very much. So I like that she was fueled by that. Really, I mean, that lady killed Josh Holloway. who had that cool bubble that he fell on. I like that scene. That was good.
Yeah, that guy had a jawline like the Cliffs of Dover.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy looked like an agent.
That was good, man. Like Lost, I think was really popular, and so when he got, you're like, oh my gosh, that was legit. So I picked Ilsa Foss, so I'm not gonna go deep into that. But I'm gonna say this one's gonna be weird. But I liked Lindsay Ferris from Mission Impossible 3, played by Kerry Russell, because it's like Kerry Russell was J.J. Abrams' stalwart, like from Felicity and those various shows, and then they did a lot of the marketing of her as an action star. So in the beginning, when her and Ethan like got each other's backs and they're spinning around in circles and shooting people and doing all this, and then her head blows up, or like her eye goes all bloody. Her doesn't blow up. It's not. This is
that one hurt.
Yeah,
that one hurt because she comes across like a student.
Yeah,
like a protege, and she has that sweetness about her.
Yeah,
too.
And like out of her league, Ethan let it happen. It's almost a good thing for him to maybe get out of the game to do, but I didn't remember seeing too many trailers for Mission Impossible 3, so when that happened, I thought she was good in the action. I'm like, we're going to get Kerry Russell action star. This is awesome. And then her eyeball blows up. Whoa. And I know it's like fridging of a character. People don't like that. But I think because she wasn't like a wife or anything like that. She was just another agent, so it's fine. But just because she was a J.J. Abrams acolyte, and I thought she pulled off her scenes cool, and then I don't know, I didn't see that movie going there, and it went there, so I dug it.
Yeah, that struck an emotional chord real early in that movie.
Man, that got me. Yeah, so that's mine.
I think my next pick is probably because this character was my favorite assassin from the franchise, and I forgot the name of the actor, but her name was Moreau in the movie in Ghost Protocol, the blonde French woman.
Yeah.
Who was kicked out of the window.
She went flying.
But she was like just nasty. I mean, you could tell she was like this smooth, but just cold as ice.
That's what the franchise needs, right? Villains
it was
like
it was almost a Bond feel to her as an assassin.
And then she went to a Bond movie.
And I love the part where she figured it out from Renner, from his little contact lens that he had in his eye, and how she was tuning in on it. So I think she to me was an assassin, was a complete assassin to me while watching that movie.
They get some good actors for some small roles in this movie. No, I dig it. And she landed on a car, that's for sure. She probably wrecked something. No,
she fell a long way.
But like, think about what makes Die Hard good, right? Very capable side henchman. Or think about what like Mr. Joshua from Lethal Weapon, who works for the main Gary Busey's Mr. Joshua, who works for the main villain. It's always good to have secondary antagonists that are, because I mean, if you think about the main antagonist of Ghost Protocol, he's running away from everything. Like, you can't, that final fist fight at the end, you're like, what is happening? Why is Cruise losing this? This is the weirdest fight I've ever seen. So she was more too. Remember the car park fight?
Yeah, that was my least favorite part of Ghost Protocol, because the bad guy, that Swedish nuclear, I don't know, what does he call it?
Yeah,
philosopher or something like that. He just wasn't the good bad guy. It was just too vanilla, too plain. And that's my big issue I think I have with Ghost Protocol. For all the action that they had, the bad guy was kind of a letdown.
Insane cardio too. Yeah, so that's why I think she was good, like having Lea Seydoux in there, just to add a little menace to it. No, yeah, that's a good call. And we've already done this. I'm just gonna bring it up, but I just love Decoy John Lark, because I did not see that fight scene going that way. You know what I like too is if you think about the fight scenes in this movie, you have the beach fight at the end of 2, which is like a knife fight, and then you have a couple fisticuffs with Philip Seymour Hoffman, but then the 4th one you have him brawling the Swedish dude, and the 5th one you have the kind of Rogue Nation opera house fight. But in this one, I mean, that dude hammered him. He won, and so I don't know. That's what I like. Like that. For me, you don't see a side character just handling the 2 stars, just destroying them. So, I mean, I dug it. So I would add Decoy John Lark in there just because of the surprise. It was cool. I've been reading up on the stuntman. Like, the guy got a huge boost from it. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going to say, Decoy John Lark from Fallout.
So my 5th, I'm going to go back to Mission Impossible 1. And it was the wife of John Voight. I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
So what happened in Mission Impossible 1, I mean, you think that Jon Voight was dead and his wife was the only one that survived, but then you don't really know if she's good or if she's bad. And
Claire.
Jon Voight shoots her, but you know she's a villain. She was trying to get the money and turn Ethan in, but at the same time you felt bad for her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how often is it that an actor can pull off, one, you feel bad for her trying to do this to Ethan.
Yeah.
But I think she really did care for him. She just got swept up in this crime. So it was really complex emotion with her in that scene, especially in the end with the train.
Yeah, Emmanuel.
Jon Voight shot her.
Emmanuel Barrett. Like she's legit.
Yeah, she was just so multidimensional that I really like that one.
Man, look at the cast from the first one. You had Tom Cruise, Jon Voight, who, I mean, Oscar-winning Jon
Emilio
Voight.
Estevez.
Yeah, Emilio getting wiped out. But then Jean Reno, I mean, this was a couple years removed from Professional. Ving Rhames, a couple years removed from Pulp Fiction. Kristen Scott Thomas, who was about to break huge. Vanessa Redgrave. Like, this was a stacked cast that they brought in for this movie. They weren't playing around with this, that Mission Impossible. And I think they've carried on throughout well, 2 is kind of crazy. But for the rest of them, I think they've really focused on casting.
Yeah, I got to go back and watch 2. I just couldn't.
It's
bring
bonkers,
myself
man.
to do it.
It's insane. But like, all right, so let's think about this, right? When did Mission Impossible 3 come out? So Mission Impossible 3 came out in
Was it 2001?
2006, right?
Oh, okay, wow. Okay.
But if you think about that, this is 2006, and they brought in Philip Seymour Hoffman to be the villain, which is, I mean, dude's amazing. Right? In 2006, he'd already won his Oscar. So, I mean, now you look at movies nowadays where they bring in Charlize Theron in Fate of the Furious, and they bring in Oscar-winning actors. I know there were Oscar-winning villains before Philip Seymour Hoffman, but I just like how the Mission Impossible franchise is always focused on bringing in some, like,
it's got to be really interesting. It's got to be interesting to be on a Mission Impossible set.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think just being on set with Tom Cruise, right? I had a chance. I was working on a movie here, and I had a chance to go work on one of his other movies because they needed someone to do cars, but I was working on something else, and I couldn't go over there and help out.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, kind of kicking myself because I would have loved to have seen how much that moves. Like, you set everything up. Oh, we're moving. Like, wait, what? And then just have to adapt. But that might be freeing, though. It's like, should I set this up, or are they going to change it? It's like a chess match. Like, he changed it yesterday. Will he change it today? Should I hold some back? Like, that'd be kind of fun to work on. It would test your
test your nerves a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure it'd be fulfilling once you watch it.
But everything else will be easier after that. You do that challenge, and it's great. Then everything else will be easier after working with him.
Yeah, you're just so used to working on the fly. No, I mean, that's what most of set life is anyway. But yeah, I have a question for you. Fast and Furious franchise or Mission Impossible franchise? They're completely different. But which would you, if you had to sit down and watch them again?
Can I say early Fast and Furious franchise and the later Mission Impossible franchise? Could I combine them?
So you have to form your ultimate 6.
Oh, that's easy. Oh, I'll take the first 3 Fast and the Furious.
Yep, that's what I would do.
Too Fast, Too Furious, Tokyo Drift.
Yep.
Then moving over to Mission Impossible, I would probably go MI3 and then Ghost Protocol and Fallout. I would probably skip Rogue Nation. Rogue Nation was good, and it was a fun, taut movie, but it's not as big and awesome as Ghost Protocol and Fallout, in my opinion. So that's what I would go.
That's okay. So I would do Fast and the Furious, the Fast and Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Tokyo Drift, Mission Impossible. Then I do Mission Impossible 3, and then Ghost Protocol. That would be my ultimate 6.
You know what Rogue Nation is? It was good, but I can never remember it. We've talked about this before. The best barometer of a movie is memorable until I remember it after watching it. And I watched it in preparation for this episode, but I don't remember.
That water scene I always forget.
The water scene, and then there was an opera scene, and I remember Solomon Lane just shooting someone for no reason.
Yeah.
And Elsa Fosse, I don't know if she's good or bad, but that outside of that, it just doesn't stick with me. I don't retain it.
I feel like I can see most of 3 in my head. Fallout's going to be glued in my brain forever.
Yeah, we've watched that so many times.
I got to tell you, so I listened to the commentaries on this, and I mean, McQuarrie and Cruise and all the editors and people who worked on it deserve a victory lap for sure. But in these commentaries, man, this movie's 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes, It's just like, oh, that's amazing. Oh, look at that shot. That's beautiful. Oh, stop right here. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, look at that shot. Look at that framing. Oh, that's beautiful. It's kind of that for 2 hours. And you get a little worn out about it. Like, oh, it's so great. It's so great. I think it almost jaded me a little bit towards the film, listening to them talking about how great it is for 4.5 hours.
Oh, that's a long time. But that's one of the staples that they have are these action sequences through beautiful areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pulpit Rock at the end, that's in Norway, where they had Cavill and Cruz fought at the end. That was in Norway. But the helicopter chase was in New Zealand through the canyons. But then they went through Paris, and then they went through London, and they've been in Morocco and all over the place. So they do these beautiful chases through scenic areas, and that's a staple of the movie.
Yeah.
Gives them a lot to work with.
All right, so before we get out of here, I have my major complaint about this movie. Now, biggest complaint. Cliffhanger, right? The final fight is between Stallone and John Lithgow on a mountainside on a helicopter hanging from a mountain. Like, hanging there. Exactly like the ending of this movie. And I just remember watching Fallout and going, that's Cliffhanger. Because I had done the episode with Adam. And so, it's one of our more popular episodes. Rennie Harlan. But, it's the Cliffhanger fight. So I guess for me, it's a little, it took me out of it. I know it's a good fight. It's a good brawl. There's some good facial scarring, but to me, it's too much Cliffhanger. It didn't feel new to me. So that's my main complaint. It's a Cliffhanger final fight. So I don't know if you felt that way, or if you remember Cliffhanger.
That end scene was so long with the helicopter chase. It was just strange that they had the fight on the Pulpit Rock.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, why? Why is this needed on top of the helicopter chase scene?
That's a good point. Because it's not really memorable. I've watched this movie nonstop and I don't really remember much of it other than it's just Cliffhanger. Like, it's a helicopter hanging. Like, the helicopter's hanging from a mountain. And it's, I don't know. Just also the thrill of seeing Stallone and John Lithgow trade punches is pretty amazing. If someone said, Mark, do you want to watch a fight scene between John Lithgow and Stallone or Henry Cavill and Tom Cruise? What are you going to take? Like, I'm going Lithgow all day. But that's my only complaint.
Is he athletic? I don't remember that fight scene.
Well, he's a big guy. So I think, Lithgow's 6+ feet, probably 220. Like, he's a big, burly dude. So compared to Stallone, he's a lot bigger. So just remember him from Dexter, how intimidating he was?
Yeah, so, Lithgow as the Trinity Killer.
Yeah.
In season 3 of Dexter was one of the best bad guys I've ever seen.
So unhealthy. It made me exhausted and gave me nightmares. I don't get nightmares, but I couldn't sleep and I got nightmares from him. So yeah, I think his just presence is what you have. And plus his accent is insane. But yeah, that's my one complaint about this movie is the final fight reminds me too much of Cliffhanger. Which it's really not a bad thing to say because Cliffhanger's amazing and Rennie Harlan's awesome.
Well, that and the number of times they said plutonium clearly irritated you.
I mean, there's a lot, right? They say plutonium. Like, I hate plutonium as a MacGuffin. Just when I hear in Too Fast, Too Furious, I'm more thrilled about the cigar cutter scene, trying to steal it from Cole Hauser, than I am about plutonium being. When I hear plutonium being stolen, my eyes just gloss over. Plutonium.
Yeah, where are they going to go? Where are they going to go from that in the next one?
Plutonium again?
Not again. No more plutonium.
Yeah.
You know what bothered me? I got to tell you what bothered me. You know what Avengers ruined for me is the storyline about not sacrificing one to save many.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just the Avengers beat you over the head with that so many different times with Thanos that now I see this and I can't deal with that storyline anymore.
Or just remember in Ultron, we got to save all the people in Sokovia after Man of Steel, and there's about an hour of them getting innocent people off of a floating rock, and you're just come on, guys. This is
a long one.
Yeah, just don't put them on the rock, and then just focus on the fight and more characters. Like there's I don't know. That's just exactly. It's just, but yeah, when they're saying it, so the world can blow up. How many people died in the pursuit of this plutonium? But
exactly.
One of their guys lived. And so I don't want to see Luther dead. I mean, and also Luther's saved the world a few times. So it's like maybe Luther is worth the life of everyone who died.
Yeah, you're right. So he's earned it. He's got a lot of capital there.
Yeah, I guess if it's a random person, you're like, well, have you ever saved the world? Do you have gun? What skills do you have? I bake bread. I like bread. But it's, yeah, I mean, I guess he weighed Luther's hacking skills and saved him. Like, he saved the world from Chimera and Mission Impossible 2 from a virus that kills you from the inside. But it's, I guess that makes it easier for me to swallow, because I thought about that too. I took a nice long walk and I thought about it. And I was like, well, I guess Luther's, I guess Luther's worth it. So I went to the beach, nice time, 5 o'clock sunset, wind hitting me, just thinking about Fallout and Luther. But no, you're right. The whole, if I hear that in a movie too much, Plutonium, they're going after plutonium. Like, what? I don't know. In the raid, they're just trying to live. That's Mad Max. They're trying to drive straight. They're trying to drive away from other people. Yeah. Just, right?
Yeah.
You don't need plutonium.
Yeah, they're just trying to escape through the desert.
Yeah. There's no plutonium. Just drive in a straight line to get away from these people.
The other thing that bothers me, I still can't tell the difference between the Apostles and the Syndicate. I still have no idea about the intersection there.
So the Syndicate became the Apostles?
I think so.
Because the Syndicate was broken up, but then was Lark a Syndicate or was he an Apostle? And how did he know?
I'm so confused. I can never tell.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why this movie, you don't want to think too much during this film, because I don't know how they're connected.
I still don't understand. I tried to get it, but I don't. But speaking of them, what would be a better 60s band?
Oh.
John Lark and the Syndicate, or Solomon Lane and the Apostles?
John Lark and the Syndicate. We're Solomon Lane and the Apostles. We're John Lark and the Syndicate. Solomon Lane and the Apostles. John Lark and the Syndicate.
Or is it the other way around?
Solomon Lane and the Syndicate? We're Solomon Lane and the Syndicate. I like the first one you said. John Lark and the Syndicate. We're John Lark and the Syndicate. We're here for you, Milwaukee. Like, that seems pretty good.
I think Solomon Lane and the Apostles would be more of a heavy death metal band, because it has like the biblical reference.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I can see it more as death metal rather than 60s British invasion bands.
All right, last thing though, and I don't want to seem negative, but if they just blew up Michelle Monaghan and poisoned a third of the world's water source, that's a pretty good payback on Ethan Hunt. They didn't have to bring him there for that.
Well, they didn't have to break into the CDC, steal the smallpox samples, poison the people in Kashmir, bribe Julia's company to go there, have them follow the tracker in Solomon Lane's neck so they knew exactly where to go.
I mean, imagine Hunt reading the paper. Wait, what happened to Julia? She was in Kashmir when the bomb went off? Like, his life he's not coming back from that. Like, he's not, they had him. And they, yeah, sorry. I don't want to do it. I want to hate on this movie. It's too great. But there are moments in this movie where your eyes do begin to gloss over, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, but Cavill's character mentioned that, where he's like, why do you have to make things so complicated? What is wrong with you?
Mm-hmm. I want revenge. I mean, blowing up his ex-wife in a third of the world's water is pretty good revenge. Like,
But he wanted him to sit in jail while that happened. He got greedy.
So what is your plan? Seth Green.
He's ambitious. I mean, that's probably, is that the most ambitious revenge plan ever in a movie?
Oh my goodness. I mean, yeah, I would say so. I mean, I can't think of any. Well, Old Boy, he imprisons a dude for like 20 some years in a hotel room, then lets him loose. Do you know Old Boy?
I've never seen it.
Can I tell you what happens?
No.
Do you want me to tell you or no?
Yeah, I'm never going to see it.
So this guy goes, a beautiful Korean film, and Park Chan-wook directed it, and he puts this guy in jail for something like 20 years, and he in a hotel room for 20 years, and then he lets him out and gives him all these clues, and the guy ends up having sex with his own daughter, and then getting his tongue ripped out. But that's that guy's revenge plan.
Jeez.
So on a large scale, no, but on a long game, yes. But yeah, so No, this was fun, man. Thank you for this. This was a great episode.
No, my pleasure. And Fallout's got all these grand plans, but does it have a line like "You've never seen me upset," like in the first Mission Impossible?
Oh yeah.
Remember that line?
Upset. Oh, I love that line.
The greatest line from the entire series was in the first movie.
And doesn't he blow up the fish tanks after that?
Yeah, with the gum.
I felt so bad for those fish. Good running in that movie.
Yeah, the scene outside after he was running away I think they had a lot of fake fish.
Oh
They
yeah.
must have had 1,000 fake fish laying in the street.
Man, if you're
That
the owner
one
of that,
scene?
you're the owner of that restaurant. You're like, my life is my insurance isn't going to cover this. Like what
What do
happened?
these fish do to you, Ethan? What happened?
Ethan
But you
Hunt.
have to think that something's going to happen if you have that many fish tanks in your restaurant.
They were asking for it.
Yeah.
You don't put that many fish tanks in there.
Or at least compartmentalize them. Like have one next to another one. So if one breaks, the whole thing's not broken.
You know when something horrible happens to you and there's always that one person that's like, I told you. Like someone's going to do that to that guy.
That's exactly what I needed right now.
Yeah.
Like after all my fish died.
I told you that would happen. You should have separated them.
There's someone like, I told you not to put that many fish in your restaurant.
You should have put this restaurant in front of a canal or a river so they could all slide in there.
The guy from Oxford?
Yeah. If you would have put this,
he shows up at the restaurant just to tell him I told you so.
if you would have put your restaurant on that canal, all the fish could have swum right into that canal and swum away and lived, and you could have caught them later. Shut up, Ricky. I heard you got burned the other day about mile 22.
Did you have a permit for all those fish?
Yeah. No, this is good, man. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, good times, man. Thanks.
Oh, this is good. All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Erik Hoffmeyer, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.